Does he have blonde hair now? Look at he's like dyed his hair and everything.
No, it's no lights on here.
It's all the time in the pool, man. The
Fucking gray. That's what it is.
Hey Dan, favorite vampire movie? Go. What is it?
Blade.
Okay,
Not
that's
Blade
not
2?
bad.
You like Blade 1 better than Blade 2?
Which one had the blood
Yeah, Blade 1's better.
pouring out of the?
I can't
That's Blade
remember.
1 in the disco tech in the beginning with
Yep.
Shoot.
Yeah, that shit's
What's her name?
I should probably start recording. Okay, there we go.
I'm recording.
I forgot to record last episode, man. I was sweating. I'm like, holy shit.
I got it. And this one, I got levels are looking good, so we're good to go.
Good.
Okay. I also have a synopsis of Rogue One right here.
Let's do it. Let's talk Rogue One.
What?
A synopsis?
Synopsis.
Yeah.
And recording. We're good. Shall we just kick it off?
So that guy, they say, hey, what's the name of your ship? And he's like, Rogue One. What other cool name could he have said?
Ghost.
Red
That would
5.
be cool. No, Red 5 was already taken. Red 5 actually gets shot down.
Can you save it for the podcast?
Okay, well, let's get to it.
We started.
Welcome to episode 47 of the Burning Ewok podcast. I'm your host, Justin Grenzen. With me, as always,
Chuck.
And
this is bullshit, by the way.
Why? What's up?
What?
Because you got a headset on?
No, because we already started.
Oh, okay. Well, now we got the formalities out of the way, and we're here to wrap up the Cassidy Andor storyline with Rogue One today, right? That's the whole point of this.
Yeah. So can we call it the trilogy? Can we just call it
a trilogy? It is.
Yeah.
Kind of is a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Andor season 1 is the first title. Then season 2 is 2 in Rogue One.
And then Rogue One.
Tony Gilroy himself said it was season 3 of the Andor story, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Good enough for me.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. How do you guys want to do this? You guys want to kind of like just rip through the story and kind of talk about our experiences? Because this is a movie that's been out 10 years now. So we could kind of, I guess, talk about like when we first saw it, what we thought about it then, and then like actually go through the movie a little bit. I don't know if we need to go beat by beat, but maybe just kind of talk about how we feel about it now after like the context of Andor.
Well, my wife said after the movie ended, she's like, wow, that movie made so much more sense now. That no, seriously, like with all the leading up from Andor, the movie itself, it just to her made a lot more sense. And I kind of feel that way, maybe a little.
Well, I mean, let's talk about like when we first saw it, like what were your initial thoughts? Like, do you remember how you felt when you saw it upon initial release?
Yep. It was Saving Private Ryan in space. It was really, how I felt about it, right?
Okay, like my whole thing was, I remember walking out of the theater and being in shock of the old footage that they pulled and put into, Red Leader, bringing like back those pilots that were in episode 4.
Yep.
And like how awesome that space battle, because that's like still one of my absolute favorite space battles is the space battle in Rogue One. It's still my favorite. I should say it is my favorite and remains my favorite. And like that's the part that really stuck with me. And then obviously the little bit at the end with Darth Vader. Those were all the things, and I felt it was like a Jyn Erso story where I don't necessarily feel that way anymore. Like it's still my favorite space battle. I still love the stuff at the end, but my view of it completely changed. And I loved it when it first came out, and I still love it. I love Rogue One, always have, always will.
I do. I like seeing the old characters. There was what's his name? Dodonna. What's his name?
Dodonna is in it. Yeah, Dodonna.
Yeah, he's there.
Jan Dodonna is actually in Rogue One, not in any part of Andor though.
Right. Well, he's off planet. Yeah. So I mean, they didn't want to like. I'm sure it was a challenge to create all that stuff for Rogue One. So it's kind of simplified if you can. But no, the I think my initial reaction to the movie was that is very different for a Star Wars movie, and I still, even though now you can kind of tell, still blown away by Tarkin because that dude's dead, and like
I hate it.
a little
It's
bit of
awful.
his voice is off, but like yeah, now it's awful, but at the time I was shitting my pants. I was like, oh fuck, that's amazing.
It gives me uncanny valley every time I see him.
I don't think so. Maybe a little.
Well, I mean, I know it does for me.
Well, you know it's CG though. Like that's the thing, man. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not good enough.
So
They should have just cast him.
So the
You know,
funny
they should
story.
just recast.
Funny story. When my dad saw the movie, he called me and he's like, "I can't believe that guy who played the guy in the Death Star, that one guy, I forgot it. He's still alive?" I'm like, "Tarkin?" He's like, "Yeah, Tarkin. He's still alive, huh?" And I'm like, "Dad, that guy died like 1980." He's like, "What?" So it fooled him. And I'm wondering, since he didn't know about Peter Cushing's death, that maybe it took away that like thought of Uncanny Valley. You know, because when I see it, I'm like, yeah, I know it's fake. I know it's fake. You know, it's impressive. I think like 10 years from now, if they do stuff like that, it'll be, you won't even know unless you know the person's dead.
Right.
It's going to be weird.
It's
all
almost
weird though. There's like a weirdness factor though.
Come on, man. It's almost to that point now. Like I think with like the AI video stuff, like people can get.
Did you see the one that was like all over the internet today? The AI video where it's like the AI complaining about being made to do videos of like people killing each other and people dying, and like complaining about it.
No,
I did not see it.
Oh my god! And so somebody is like it's like a war, and it's like, oh, all you do is prompt me to kill people or prompt me to die a sad death. Or I want you to prompt me to be happy. And it's like, oh crap.
Well, you're doing your job, AI. You're doing your job. When we ask Grok if Elon Musk is a white supremacist, and you say yes, he's just going with human nature. It's pulling it all. Here's the thing. When we get Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher, who are people who are gone, it's different to me than if you take like Mark Hamill or I don't know, Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and you de-age, or like you did with Michael Douglas in Ant-Man. When you de-age the characters, there's something different about that, or even de-aging Harrison Ford in the last Indy movie, which I think was fantastic. That was like one of the better ones. You didn't like it? Again, you know he's being de-aged though, so you know. I thought it was done really. I think it's done pretty well.
It's getting impressive. It's getting damn impressive.
And it's just like when you de-age somebody, it's different than playing a dead guy. You know, putting Peter Cushing up there, who is not, you know.
So, let's say you tried to do like, for example, Star Trek. You have maybe one or two of the originals still alive. I think two of the original cast still alive. So what if you did a movie with after they were all dead and gone, and you did a movie with all their like you couldn't probably get the rights, but bring them in as CGI.
I bet you every single person on that Star Trek cast has said that you could use my liking and pay my family. I bet you that's the cast has.
Maybe.
Like Kirk might be the only one that doesn't. Shatner might be the only one that doesn't. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, look at you recast Bail Organa in Andor, and everybody was cool with it.
Yeah, I was fine with it. Yeah.
How many James Bonds have there been? I mean, we get over it. We'll get used to it. We may hate it, and then we go.
Here's the thing, though. But then they go and they recast Harrison Ford and put a kid in to play Solo. He did a great job. The movie's good.
Yeah, I thought he did great.
And everybody hated it because they couldn't get over it being Harrison Ford. Because you have this larger-than-life icon in Harrison Ford. And that's the problem. When you get so big. When it gets so big. I think
don't
people
know
are going to get over it. I
that
think kids
was
are going to
the-
grow up and be like, Solo's amazing. You know,
I don't think that was the issue for people.
Then
No?
what was the issue?
For Solo,
Yeah.
bad marketing and a political movement that was against it. They didn't like, quasi robotic gay Lando. There was some other stuff in there that they didn't like. I mean, so there was an online campaign against it. I mean,
like the most like 5 second like bit in a show, and like the whole thing's ruined.
yeah. So I'm not saying it's ruined. I'm just saying people.
No, I'm not saying you ruined it. I'm saying other people.
Yeah.
Oh, there's people lining
lined
up. But people are lining up the same way to stop
hate it.
Andor, and hate on Andor. For certain things. I mean, that's just the nature of anything Star Wars. It's always been that way since the special edition, since C-3PO. And it's been that way.
Yeah, I think Solo also came out at a time where I think Star Wars was really getting saturated with the sequels, which were not doing well, and I think that hurt the perception of that movie. So, anyways, I think you just freaking recast people. It's okay. If they're 80 and you need somebody to be 20, get a new actor. There's plenty of them.
Yeah,
and there's
true.
good ones.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. I agree.
So I was just telling you, what was it last week, right? Who I thought the perfect Luke recast would be, right?
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah. So I think there are people who look the part, talk the part, and are great actors that you can bring in, and you wouldn't really miss a beat. It's been long enough. So that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think it's a good opinion.
All right. So I got Rogue One Andor questions.
Cool.
Okay.
So halfway through the movie, after Galen Orso dies, Jin comes back with Cassian to Yavin 5. And now Death Star gets thrown out there by everybody. We know the name now. The Rebel Alliance is talking about it. And who's Cassian's boss? The guy that sends him out on the mission. He's in Andor and Draenor or something like that.
Yeah, Draven.
Draven, thank you. Is like Death Star. What the hell is this Death Star thing? It's like the first time he ever heard the words. Didn't Cassian come back to Yavin 4 with Draven and Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, and they talk about the Death Star, right?
They never mentioned it by
name.
Yeah, I don't think they
never
have the name yet.
They never have the name in
I thought Clea gave the name to Cassian.
Nope.
No. Mm-mm. Just that it was a doomsday device.
Just said they have a weapon.
I don't even know if they said planet killer. They just said super weapon.
I think she mentions planet killer at one point, like possibly like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Never said Death Star. The only person that says Death Star in it are the Imperials.
Yeah.
I thought
Idris says it.
I
sure.
thought
Dedra's the first one that says it.
I thought Lonnie told.
Mm-mm.
He didn't use the word Death Star. He just said.
He said. He said Calcite, or like it's like Gorman, Urso, or Galen Urso, Jeddah, Kyber.
Hey guys, I gotta go and pause for a second here. Sorry.
All right, we're gonna pause for a second, and we'll be back in a minute.
Wars.
And we're back. So anyway,
Boom, 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 boom.
I shouldn't have stopped recording. I did stop recording, but now I can easily see it and I can clean it up better. It's easier to clean. We got to stop. We got to start. It's all good. Technical problems are averted. Anyway, back to it. So yeah, I do not believe Death Star is mentioned until Rogue One. And after Galen or so is killed and they have a better idea what's going on. I mean, and this is after they see it on Jeddah too.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think they said it. I was in my latest rewatch of Andor season 2 because my youngest son is finishing it. We have the last 3 episodes to go, so I will confirm it. But
the whole Jeddah sequence, there's a very interesting, like nobody notices, like there's like an eclipse, like what the hell is that? There's like something just passed between the sun and us, and then all of a sudden the city explodes, and like She's Jin. No, not Jin. What's her name? Um, she's talking to Saw, and they're like, and Saw's like losing it because he's like, "Are you here to kill me?" Like I think he's like completely at like his wits
nuts.
end.
He's nuts.
He was
nuts.
cooked.
Yeah, his
and
brain's
so she's
cooked.
talking to him and like she's listening to her dad's like hollow or whatever. Behind them outside, shit is just blowing up, and like they don't notice.
Well, they do when things are starting to shake apart and everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, think about like planetary scale, like disasters and things like that. I think it would happen faster than a tsunami from an earthquake. But you have a giant mass impact thing happen on the surface of a planet. You're gonna have 5-10 minutes until it's gonna hit you. Depending how far away it is, I mean, you could. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the dramatic fly away from the debris as it's coming at you thing is a little goofy, but I get it. I mean, I like just getting into talking about the movie. Like the thing that I think I mentioned last episode was how jarring it is to go into Rogue One right after the last episode of Andor, because Andor is so paced and so every shot counts, everything matters, but it's like really paces itself, and it's breakneck speed as soon as you get into Rogue One. It's just like boom, boom, boom. Like the first thing you see is that giant like crescendo of music, and then the planet. As they go and the Imperials go and get Galen Erso off the planet. So it's just like hits you like that, and then boom, we're going. And then next scene, and then immediately. So Cassian's introduction, so he was always like a side character to me the first time I saw it, and I love how he goes and he's speaking to Tivik, and you're like, all right, here we go. And the things he says and the way he says them line up so well with the end of Andor, where he's like, he mentions like, because he's talking about this pilot that's he's gone rogue and he's going to be on Jeddah, blah 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 blah. He's with Saw, and he mentions Urso, and then immediately how he looks at him, grabs him, he's like, Urso, Galen, like, is this like what we're talking about, which were like the code words that were given to him earlier before, exactly, and how he's piecing those together still. So, and again, like that's why no Death Star yet, but piecing those parts together, having this guy have that information, poor Tivik. Do you guys remember him from season 1? I don't remember. I heard that he was in it, but
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know what scene he was in or what he did.
No.
Okay.
I thought it was really like also where he just shoots him and like starts climbing. I'm like, that makes absolute total sense because of the situation that they're in right now, and he does not have time to deal with this guy.
Yeah, but it's like
plus
before.
It's another loose end that if the Imperials get him.
But I remember like when you said it was a different feel for Star Wars, when Andor shoots at Tivik, the first time you see it without any context of the Andor series, you're like, oh wow, this is like good guys shooting people in cold blood. That's different for Star Wars, And then like, but now you're like, I'm like, yep, got to do that. This is one. We saw Luthen doing it. We know what's going on now. I mean, it makes it feels correct.
Yeah, I don't believe Tivik is in season 1, by the way.
Okay, and that's very possible. I couldn't remember where I saw him if I did, but I'll look that up. I'll probably end up watching it again too.
It does though. Quite like he hesitates to take out Galen. Like when he climbs up on that mountain, he's got him in his sights. He hesitates, which that also does seem like his personality, because he does break the rules once in a while.
But I think he sees though that he's not the bad guy, because he's looking through there and he sees Krennic come down and they're lining up all those other guys to shoot him on the platform, and he's watching this. He's got Galen. He could easily shoot him at any moment, but he's seeing right now. It's just like, hang on, this isn't the bad guy. Like there's some more to it.
Right.
So he's just not like a droid or like some like unthinking machine that's just gonna kill for no reason. And he's like, why am I gonna kill this girl's dad if he's not?
Right. Yeah.
Because also, like, at the end, he's not like totally like under like what everybody at Yavin's telling him to do all the time. I mean, remember, like 17 times breaking the rules, 18 times breaking the rules. He's not gonna listen. He's gonna always do his own thing. So it also kind of fits his character there.
It also bums me out that he wrecked the ship because the ship was cool.
The U-wing is amazing.
Yeah. I love that ship.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool.
I think one of my kids has that Lego set. Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, I think I would fly that thing. That'd be one of. I like that ship.
It's a cool
lot.
ship. Yeah, I always liked it. Let's see what else we got. One thing I want to also mention is the score at the end of episode 12 of Andor. One of the things we didn't talk about is the music. If you just sit through the end credits, it plays the Andor suite and everything, and then it goes into the Rogue One music, and then it goes into the episode 4 John Williams stuff.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of a little weird Easter egg if you want to go and listen to some of the music. It's pretty cool. Huh. Yeah, you'll hear it transition to all three. So again, I guess like it's a fourth part. It's called A New Hope. Where this stupid farm boy comes out of nowhere. He's got like less than 90 minutes of screen time and he gets the medal at the end. Yeah.
I like how he used the line with her, rebellions are built on hope.
Mm-hmm.
I also liked the grenades that they were throwing at the end matched the ones in season 2 when they were on Gorman. Like the props were very similar. That tied in, I thought, together really well.
I also noticed that Melshi was a much bigger character inside of Rogue One than I would have ever given him credit for.
Yeah.
So we got the guy who escapes prison, ends up with the gun that Cyril has from season 1. Yep. Ends up going on the raid to go save, what's her name, Clea, in the end of the season. He's the one who rescues Jyn or so, or he's there. He gets smacked in the head with a shovel. By Jyn, but then he's also on the beach at Scarif, part of that group, to take down the shield generator. So or not shield generator, get the signal out. That was interesting because it's just like, I don't know, this Melshi guy, they keep talking about him. I'm like, oh, there he is. Yeah, Melshi.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Saw Gerrera, what's he breathing? Is it the jet fuel or is it oxygen?
It's oxygen at that point.
Are you sure?
I think so. I think he's like, he fried his, whatever they were collecting the gas for, whatever mission he went on with that gas, I think he screwed himself up. Because after that speech he gives and everything, then he has that oxygen thing with him all the time after that.
Or is it?
How did Wilmon then not screw up his lungs, right?
Well, he screwed up his leg, though.
I
don't know. I don't know.
He screwed up his leg on Gorman. Remember how we had that whole thing?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he screws it up on Gorman because he gets sent over to Coruscant and then they take him from there to Andor.
No, he was okay when he first got to Yavin. It was the next set of missions.
I just watched it. So
he got hurt on Gorman.
He gets hurt on Gorman. He gets left behind with his girlfriend, and they're doing the communication thing. We don't know what happens. The next scene the next bit is him getting to, him finally making it to Coruscant from Gorman. So we can say, it's not necessarily during that massacre. It's that time between then and him getting to Coruscant, where they bring Clea. Because the first thing he says is he here? And they're thinking it's Luthen, but no, it's Wilmon. He goes back, and Wilmon's got his leg all messed up, and then they take him to Yavin.
Yeah.
When he's with the girl. Yeah. So
there's so much that I feel like there was more story there that, we didn't get to see because they had to shorten it.
Yeah. Like, I really like the idea of hearing the story of K2SO's other original story that they were going to do. It was going to be a ship with all the KX droids on there hunting down all the rebels in it, like a horror movie.
Oh, that's cool.
But it would have been one episode, and they had to throw it because of budget constraints.
Yeah.
And story, cool. They had to, honestly, like how it worked out pretty good. But
yeah.
But I do like the idea of doing a horror story of droids hunting down rebels in a.
That would be cool,
ship.
Man.
Yeah. All right. What else? Let's talk some more Rogue One and other thoughts.
Oh, we got to talk about Darth.
All right, let's talk about Darth.
So did they add him later? Like,
yes.
Did they get this film done and go, we need to add Darth Vader? Because his bits, except for the end. I feel like the bit where why did Kalen? That's his name, right? The guy that was in
Krennic?
charge of the Rennick. That's it.
Krennic.
Why did Krennic go and talk to Vader? What was the whole point of that? He just wanted to make sure that the Emperor knew he did a good job.
Exactly. So Krennic is getting what happened to him is the same thing that happened to like Cyril, which is the same thing that happened to Dedra. It's just like you're getting stomped by the people ahead of you. So Krennic is so high up on the scale though that he could talk to Darth Vader and Tarkin, and they're having those fights and everything. Because Tarkin hates the Death Star. He thinks it's an absolute waste. He's got this TIE Defender program he's working on and all this other stuff at the same time. So he hates the Death Star. He sees the Death Star in action. He's like, oh, that works. I'll take that, please. And just totally takes it from Krennic and takes all credit like he was doing it all along. So he's just a scumbag. Yeah, he's this absolute scumbag. And so Krennic was trying to vie for... Well, yes, that's part of it.
So Krennic and Tarkin are like came up through the ranks together and are like rivals their whole career.
Yeah, but Tarkin seems to me to be a little bit older.
They are like they both get out of like the academy together, and Galen also, like all three of them came up through the same program together.
So my thought it would be Tarkin would be older. Galen and Krennic would be about the same age.
Yeah, they're about the same age.
And they're more buddy with each other. But you got to remember, Tarkin was also part of the Old Republic, or not the Republic, and moved over, similar to Yularen. Yularen is the dude with the white hair. You could see him for like a half a second in episode 4, but he's the voice of the Clone Wars. You know, like the narrator that starts every episode. That's Admiral Yularen, who then in Rebels is one of the admirals on the Empire. Then he turns. So it's like a lot of those leaders turned over. Tarkin was one. But man, like every time they show Tarkin inside of all those animated things, he's so evil. like there's never any like bit of good where Yularen is like, yeah, you're surprised that he turns, you know?
But didn't Tarkin, okay, here's the dealio. The actor that they hired, wasn't he like, he played like in horror movies and stuff, right? Like that was his whole thing. He played evil.
Peter Cushing was, he was like in the old Hammer films.
Yeah.
With like Vincent Price and Christopher Lee. Yeah, Christopher Lee was in a lot of those movies too.
Yep. Yeah. So he brought in a cachet with him of evil, right? So like when you see him, like the very first time you see him, you're like, well, that guy's clearly evil. Like, you know what I mean?
Apparently one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet too.
Oh, jeez, I bet he was.
On the set of A New Hope, he wore like pink slippers under, like when he didn't have to wear. He never wanted to wear the boots because they were too uncomfortable. So only for a few shots you see him with the boots on, but he wears slippers the rest of the time. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So you asked a question about like adding the Darth Vader bit at the very end.
Yeah. So that part seems to me to make sense. What was the deal? Like the whole. I mean, I loved it. I loved seeing the castle on Mustafar and all that. But it's just like I don't know that it was needed. Really, I don't think Vader was really needed.
The Mustafar part is the whole bit about Krennic trying to gain favor with Vader, like get credit for the Death Star, and then he's like, "Yeah, don't choke on your aspirations," all that stuff. So the bit at the end though, where he's like coming in and trying to stop, like the money shot of Darth Vader. Finally, we see Darth Vader, cutting fools down. So Gareth Edwards is the one who directed the movie, Rogue One. There were some bloated parts on it. That's when they brought Gilroy in, and Gilroy kind of rewrote the beginning and rewrote the end. Okay. And the end part that he rewrote, though, wasn't the part where Darth Vader's added. That was actually Tony Gilroy. I mean, not Tony. That was Gareth Edwards. Got to do that part. Like Kathleen Kennedy actually had to like rubber stamp that going in because they're like, please, can we do this?
Oh, we just lost. Okay,
you lost me.
Justin, you're cutting in and out.
You're Skyping.
Oh man, really?
Oh, not now. No,
all right. So
and it was perfect because you're like,
You know what, though? On my side, it's not going to do that because I'm recording it. So anyway, hopefully it comes through okay. What was I saying? So yeah, Gareth. Let me go through the story. So Gareth Edwards directed most of it, and the stuff that really got changed was the end sequence on Scarif. They were supposed to actually get the plans and then run them all the way across the beach to get to this tower to then transmit it, instead of having the tower and everything in the same building. Because they were like running it and they're like, it just goes on forever, and they're just running across this beach, and it just didn't work. And you could see in some of the trailers there's a lot of stuff where they're running across the beach
Okay.
in the like the original trailers. There's also a scene of like a TIE fighter coming up on the tower where she's standing on it. That was like added in. It was never supposed to be part of the movie. They did that specifically
Really?
for the trailer. Yeah, I always thought that was a cool cutscene, but it wasn't. But then, yeah, so then that's why Gilroy gets a lot of credit for the writing on it. He got writing credit, but he didn't really direct a lot of it or anything. It was mostly still Gareth Edwards. And then Gareth Edwards was like on it the whole time going, this is cool. There was like no fighting. When the movie was being made, everybody's like, this movie is going to be an absolute disaster. They're like recutting the whole thing and doing it, but holy cow, I mean, they knocked it out of the park with those changes.
Yeah,
As far as I know.
think so.
I mean, like everybody's like, both directors are like, no, this is the version that you want to see. The other stuff's not as good. This is better. So, and then Gareth Edwards went and directed the part with Darth Vader coming through the aisle trying to, get the plans.
Yeah, my understanding is the midway point scene where Krennic goes to Vader is different than what it was originally shot and put in the movie. Originally, Vader comes to Krennic before Jedha is destroyed.
Interesting.
And instead, they went with Tarkin telling Krennic to use it on Jedha. So yeah, that's one of the changes that was made from Gareth to Gilroy.
It's a pretty dark sequence too, because you think about it, like they just went through that city, and you see how populated it is, and there's kids, and there's like just regular people. There's the monks that don't really do anything anymore because the temple's been ransacked by the Empire. So it's really, really interesting. It's really dark. That's a really dark sequence, and I love how Saw Gerrera just like stands there and he's like, yeah, he's like, he's done. So, but I don't know. It was the one thing watching this movie and having the 2 seasons to compare it to. I really wish this was a 12 episode, thing, because you could have delved into so much more of it and given it a little bit more life.
It's kind of like El Camino is to Breaking Bad now. It's like we get our end to some characters that we didn't get our end to, right? And we get ourselves to whatever may come next, which is A New Hope. So I don't think you need to go back and retouch this one.
Oh no, I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't. No.
Or fill in any more blanks.
But what sucks though is that Andor Cassian is a freaking cool character. Like, if it was just Rogue One, you just had Rogue One, he was interesting. But now that you have his whole backstory and like his growth across those 24 episodes or whatever, however many episodes it was, like, now I'm bummed I'm not gonna get to see him anymore. It's like, I don't know. I kind of want to see that guy some more. Like, he's cool.
Yeah, one of the things my son
always
said.
leave him wanting more, right?
Well, that's true.
So, like, I think we've had enough of him. 10 years of Andor Cassian, right? Or Cassian Andor. And let's get some new characters in there. Like, I can tell you, my kid, Brayden, he never stops talking about the character from Jedi Survivor or whatever it is, the video games, the 2 that came out. He's like, I want to see that guy in a movie. I want to see a movie about that dude.
There's a really strong possibility he's in Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah.
There's
cool.
Yeah.
He'll be stoked.
It's either that or it's like going to be in. I know like they're prepped for him to make it into live action because it's either that or maybe it was Ahsoka season 2. It's something's coming with him in it though. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll get it.
I want to see more Thrawn. I want to see a whole series about Admiral Piet and Nita. I want to see
Captain
the
Nita and
backstory
Admiral
on those
Piet.
guys.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
And
that should be a
Moff
buddy
Jarrett.
buddy.
Yeah.
That should be a buddy Imperial series or something.
Yeah.
There needs to be a scene where they're like, let's see, they're on the original Death Star, and somebody's like, "What's this worm?" And he just throws it down the trash chute. You know, that'd be funny.
but it turns out that worm was like from like a cave that they were exploring on another planet from like a while ago. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Just worm on my
Throw it in the
uniform.
trash compactor. It'll be fine. Yeah. If I were to pick, okay, that's a fun thing. So Dan wants the backstory of Piet and Captain Nita. I would like, I love the rebellion era. So the time between episode 4 and 5, it would be like super fascinating to me, where how the rebels move from Yavin to Hoth and the skirmishes along the way in there. I would like stories on that. That would be my pick.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that one today, and I was like, that could be interesting, or it could be really boring because it's just, hey, we're just moving stuff from one place to the other. But they get away. I don't remember the beginning of Empire. Like, what does it say in the scroll text? Because doesn't it say like they vanish and like nobody knows where they're at?
Yeah, no, the Emperor.
I think they're
No,
like
it starts off with
across the galaxy.
Yeah, it just because the first scene is the Star Destroyer firing off all the probe droids. So they're just hunting down, trying to find the new rebel base.
Yeah.
They're basically playing the game Rebellion.
Yeah.
And
how does Vader? So when Vader sees like the footage from Hoth, and he's like, "That's it. That's definitely it." How does he know with such conviction that is the base that they're looking for?
Man, we're getting off topic here, but if I were to guess, I would think he would know what a power generator looks like at a remote planet and figure, yeah, that's designed by rebels. That's what they would use.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't really think
All right, back to Rogue One. Okay, so now you have the planet Druidia, and they have this big vacuum hole, this big hole, and the passcode is 12345. So the rebel alliance decides, hey, we're not gonna go to Scarif because that's a suicide mission, and and they're actually discussing like maybe we should like split up and hide because the Death Star is too powerful and they don't think they can beat it. So Andor and like a ragtag group of guys jump on the freighter that they stole, and they go and this was like really a spur of the moment thrown together mission. Like, it was again without permission. Also, they just left. Yeah.
They went rogue and became rogue.
Exactly.
But it fits in with everything we see in Andor though, because like the Rebel Alliance isn't like truly fully formed. Like they're still like arguing about what they should and shouldn't do. And I guess like Mon Mothma is the one that makes the decision to send the rest of the fleet.
But only after they're like on the planet getting their asses kicked.
But at that point they're like, oh, this is legit. They realize, okay, there is something here. So, and it's like one of the things in Star Wars that always kind of like confuses me is how time works.
Yeah.
I know we talked about the minutes and all that stuff before, but like how, like I want to like have like a map of the galaxy, the entire Star Wars galaxy, and be like, okay, so if I'm gonna go to hyperspace between Yavin and Scarif, how long does it take me? Is it 5 minutes? of space-time, of hyperspace travel? Is it 6 hours? Is it a week? I have no idea. I've got to
No
assume,
concept.
based on the things that happen in Andor, it's within a day. Because he gets from Coruscant to
It's very
Yavin
quick,
and
yeah.
back. Like, they go back and forth, like Jeddah. He goes and they meet at the one outpost, and then they go back to Coruscant in a matter of a day. You know, so that it's like if I'm going to go to Europe, it's going to take me 6 hours to fly across to Europe if I'm on a plane. You know, so it's like I want somebody to explain how that all works, and I'm sure it will break the universe and nothing works because you know, like how long does it take to get Dagobah to Bespin? And the worst perpetrator is Kenobi. Like literally, little Luke is getting hunted down by the Inquisitor lady while he's fighting Darth Vader. While Obi-Wan's fighting Darth Vader, they finish that fight, and he's like, "Crap, I got to get to Luke." Flies over while they're still like trying to like fend her off, land, and then stop that. You know, so it's like I don't know. Is it a 15-minute flight? No idea. And think about it. Like they come out of the atmosphere, like your spaceship coming in the atmosphere. Like you travel from one planet to another, and now I got to get down on the surface, and they're like there in like a minute. But it's like, how fast are they going? Like you got to be cooking pretty fast, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and your shields would have to protect against a lot of heat.
Yeah, yeah. And the only time we really see that is like in episode 3 where they're crashing the planet or crashing the ship into the planet and it's like burning up. That's like the only time you really see that. Anyway.
Yep.
All right, there's my thing.
Well, I don't think that Star Wars is going to be like 100% accurate because it's not
Really?
supposed to be serial, more of a fun kind of
science fantasy. Yeah.
Science fantasy.
So I'm good with it. I'm fine. It's whatever it tells the story. It's fantasy, you know. But I just want to know what the rules are.
There are no rules.
Like the Death
It's the
Star's
rule of
built with
cool. It's the rule of cool.
The Death Star's built with all these buttons and switches from like 1977, and then like nothing's touch screen, nothing's flat panel. You know, it's all CRTs and
and it's a series of red and white buttons usually that are like next to each other, and it's just like, well, what if I hit 3 white buttons and 2 red? What does that give me? You know, if I hit 4 red and 1 white,
gotta be.
What do you got?
Oh, this is your standard antenna alignment array. I just pull this lever and push these 4 buttons. Like, I don't know.
And pull out your flux capacitor to find where Clay is in the apartment building.
Oh yeah, no, that was almost that was like
a what is it, what is it when you find water? What do they call those?
Tuning forks.
Not a tuning fork.
Tuning fork.
Tuning fork's what you like. That's like for like.
Yeah. What? What were they called? Dowsing rods.
Dowsing rod. There you go. It's like a dowsing rod for the signal. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh boy. Oh, all right. What else we gotta talk about here? Let's talk about the music, man. Since we talked about it before, it is such a good soundtrack.
It's very good.
It is Michael Giacchino. Giannocco, thank you. Mm-hmm. Pinocchio. He also did the new Star Trek movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what else he did. Yeah. And those are very, very good also.
Yeah, my son, the composer, loves them. His favorites right now, because he might have also been the same guy who did Mandalorian as well. Do I have that right? I don't know.
Makes sense.
I don't have it in front of me. I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to make. But
I mean, it would make sense, right? Like if they hire this guy, he's done such a good job. Why wouldn't you just continue to hire him for other stuff?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things. Like, in the end of Andor, if you notice in the last episode, the music kind of shifts from the type of music it had before, and it goes more orchestral. Where it wasn't very orchestral for the beginning of the season, as you get towards the end, it becomes more orchestral and blends more into what we have in Rogue One.
Yeah.
So
the other thing
I didn't notice that. That was my composition son that noticed that and like pointed.
That's really good though.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's another way to tie him in.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was in the movie, the rebels seem more cluster, like there's just so many more of them packed into a smaller space. Like the set's not as big and open, and there's additional characters. Obviously, there's a couple more senators that show up, and
R2D2, C3PO,
oh,
Chopper.
R2D2 and C3PO are there. Yeah, I did see them. Yeah,
Chopper.
that's right.
Chopper's there.
I did not see Chopper. But...
He's just in the background. He rolls past.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they say it's actually Chopper or just another
No,
version
it's actually
of Chopper?
it's actually Chopper. It's actually Chopper.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
how they
you can
tie
look it
all
up.
together.
Yeah, if you look it up and see it, you'll be like, yeah, it's Chopper. And because they also in the overheads they're calling for Captain Syndulla, which is Hera's character.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I
from
heard
Rebels.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't
Yeah.
have the Ghost. The Ghost doesn't make an appearance anywhere in the battle, which was kind of a bummer. But the Ghost does make an appearance in Episode 9, though. Ship from Rebels. So anyway, so yeah, that's why they don't use Ghost. You said with what other names could they call Rogue One? Ghost was already used.
Right. Yeah. Ghost
Wasn't
was
there a
already taken.
Ghost Squadron?
No, Gold Squadron.
Gold
There
Squadron.
wasn't a Ghost Squadron?
It was Spectre. The Spectres are like that group of Ghost. Because it's Ghost, and they got the little ship, the Phantom, that hooks into it.
Okay.
I know too much about this stuff, don't I, guys?
No, that's not. No, that's just fine. That's what this is about. That's what this podcast is for. This is what it's for.
It's like, oh my god, I've spent so many hours on it. Oh man.
So there were 2 Star Destroyers guarding Scarif, and then the Death Star shows up. The Rebel fleet comes in. They lose one ship, or no, they lose like a couple ships.
no,
they lose a
ton.
frigate.
They lose a ton. Yeah. One of them
Yeah.
actually crashes right into the Star Destroyer before going into hyperspace.
Oh, doesn't it? Oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it tears right into
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then they
Well,
like.
and then there's the Hammerhead, which crashes.
Yeah, but that was what it's
them
built
each other.
for. Isn't that what the Hammerhead was designed for? To do that?
Yeah, but it's not in any other movies, and it's like barely in anything else in Star Wars.
Yeah. That was made specifically for that.
It was really cool.
It's awesome.
But,
Yeah,
It's
it was
awesome.
really cool.
should have been in
There-
other stuff.
In one of the games, and I can't remember if it's TIE Fighter or if it was X-Wing, but there's a scene where like they take a blockade runner, just like the one from A New Hope and the end of this movie, and they plow through a bunch of like Star Destroyers that are like lined up, getting finished. They're like getting like finished being built, and that thing just plows right through them. Do you remember that, Justin?
I remember that.
I was like, that's the most badass thing I've ever seen. That was cool as hell.
Was that an X-Wing versus TIE Fighter? Maybe. Third one.
Maybe it was one of those. It was
Yeah.
one of those.
I do remember that mission. That was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah. I love
Yep.
those games.
Yeah, the space battle stuff is cool. We don't. I feel like in the prequel there was. I think is it episode 3 where they have the space battle over Coruscant.
Yeah.
And I feel like that one seemed longer than the others, but I don't think so. I think
It's a really
Return of
good
the
space
Jedi-
battle. It's a really
I
good
think
space
Return
battle.
of the Jedi is the longest one.
Probably the longest one is Return of the Jedi
Yeah.
because it's longer than Episode 9, and Episode 9 should have probably been the longest one, but it's really not.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Whatever. I don't want to talk about that one anymore. Anyway, so Rogue One. Any final thoughts on it? Because I'm kind of trying to think of anything else we want to say.
I think we put that one to bed.
Rogue One, better movie now because of Andor.
Better. Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it
I
was a
think-
good
I
movie
think it
before. Like it was like it just knocked it up a few notches though, for sure for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? There was a moment in the
Makes Episode 4 better too.
there's a moment in the movie where they're kind of standing there, and I think they're about to land on Scarif, and Jyn gives this speech, and I was really waiting for her to turn to Andor and be like, "Don't you think you should say something?" Because remember, he's like he became this leader, and I just kept expecting him to give this rousing speech, but she did it. She did a good job though, but
Well, it's her movie
yeah.
more than it was his. Now, interesting. This is one more thing I did want to bring up, and it was the awkwardness of their relationship because of Bix. Did you feel that at the end when they were getting together, holding hands, go out on the beach, embrace. What's your opinion of it? To me, I'm totally fine with it because, hey, I'm hanging out with somebody for my last moments. I'd rather have some sort of companionship at the very end than nothing.
Yeah, I did not see their relationship at all in this movie as a like romantic one. It was like we are just on a mission together, and this is how it's going to end. So we might as well sit here together. Hey, we accomplished what we set out to do, and our reward is the sweet kiss of death or whatever.
The sweet release of death.
Yeah,
Sweet
it was
release,
more
yeah.
like him and his sister that he never found, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then that kind of counterpoints with Bix and their newborn child watching the sunset while he and Jen watch the sun set on Scarif, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
And that's what I was talking about earlier this week, right? Is when you put those two scenes together, they actually
we watched it. They actually synced up quite perfectly.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it was awkward at all. I do know that originally Cassian and Urso were going to have some sort of romantic relationship, and they scrapped it while making Rogue One. So, and I don't know if that was part of the edits that were made, but I don't know. I think it works, and I think it was totally tasteful and didn't it didn't contradict anything. It just works.
I feel like if anything, Dan's right. I think the sister relationship that's never really brought to a close in the series. I think that he's right. I think that this is like that piece of the story coming to a close almost.
Yeah, I'll buy that one too. I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It'd be cool. You know what would really be cool? So he says in the movie that he's been fighting this war since he was 6.
People freaked out about that.
No, but it makes sense. What the hell happened on his home planet?
I agree.
Clearly, it was the Empire that fucked shit up. So somebody made that comparison. They said look, they're mining there. They screw up that planet. That's the first time. It's like that's what the Empire does. A series of mining events that break everything. They do that. They go to Jeddah. Right. They end up screwing up Jeddah. Them just blowing it up. They've got Gorman. All these places they go. They just strip mine them and destroy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway. All right. Anything else to say, guys?
I'd like to see a movie. I'd like to see maybe some story of his sister. Like what happened to her? Like I don't know. Maybe like a Tales of Jabba's Palace or something.
Don't Tales of Jabba's.
Let it go.
Let it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Time for the next story.
Yeah, give me some new characters, new things. Go grab a different thing. Let's see what the next. Well, the next thing is going to be. It'll be Grogu and Mandalorian movie.
Yep.
And then I think Ahsoka season 2. I think that's the order of things. But
and
it's a year from now.
About,
it's a year from now before Mandalorian movie comes out.
They're not talking about anything new though, really. Like I haven't heard any big new movie ideas
because they've got about 7 different things going on right now, and they haven't because you've got Taika Waititi's got a movie that I don't know who knows. Like I would figure 80% of these won't get made. You've got the Rian Johnson trilogy. You've got the dudes that did Game of Thrones. They've got a trilogy. The guy who did the last Indiana Jones movie, and I forgot his name right now, but he's got the movie about the very first Jedi.
That sounds cool.
Takes place thousands and thousands of years before anything. That could be interesting. I don't know. Maybe
that could be cool.
Yeah, sure. Really cool. I don't know. And then there's I know Rian Johnson's trilogy was supposed to take place in another galaxy, removed from everything. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. They got the Rey movie that got scrapped. That got put on a shelf.
Yeah, I thought that got put on a shelf.
Yeah, who knows? So I don't know.
I thought that got put on the shelf a month and a half ago.
And then it got put back on. They were supposed to be filming it already.
Yeah.
and they're not. So
She's a good character, but I think we've had enough of this Skywalker saga, really.
As long as like the Skywalker thing was tongue in cheek, and she just continues to go by Rey and drop that stupidness, I'm fine with it. But you can use that character and hopefully redeem the other stuff. I'm fine with the character.
The character's fine.
The character's fine. I don't, it depends what you just do with that. If you build a whole new story and not have to rely on all the other, copying the other stuff and bringing back the Emperor again, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we good here, guys?
We're good.
Wrap it up. All right, like and subscribe, everybody. This is where we'll talk about something that isn't Star Wars at all next week. How about that? So just go.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go see the Mission Impossible finale this weekend.
I'm going to see Thunderbolts.
I have to see the other one. Was it Rogue?
The first half of it.
The first half, whatever it was called, I forgot.
Yeah, I never watched it either.
Great.
Okay, every single one of those movies except the second one, or first two. I don't even like the first one that much. I love the Mission Impossible movies. Like,
yeah, they're great.
Except I watch them and I don't remember like a single thing that happened or what the story was on any of them. I remember moments and I enjoy the hell out of them. And I just forget about it all.
The last one, I think the new one is number 7 or something like that. Mm-hmm. The last one was fantastic.
Yeah, and the one before it was great with Henry Cavill, where he's like cocking his arms before he punches.
Oh yeah.
Got to load up. Anyway, all right. Like, subscribe.
You guys think? Hold on. So James Bond, you can have as many different James Bonds as you want, right? Do you think that Mission Impossible works without Tom Cruise?
Yeah, you could restart that franchise without Tom Cruise. You could also, I think you could also have a series of Indiana Jones movies without Harrison Ford.
Well,
they did that. It was called Young Indiana Jones.
Well, I'm talking an adult Indiana Jones. You could do.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you just got to find the right guy, man. That's all you got to do, and it's not like The Rock or some other thing like that, right? He's like find some fresh blood. There's plenty of it out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing The Rock in a Star Wars movie.
Did you see the trailer for the new Rock movie?
Yeah,
say that again.
It's Dwayne Johnson. It's Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson serious. In the wrestling movie that's coming out, like crazy. He's like going for an Oscar with that.
Total Oscar bait. Yep, that's exactly what that is. Yeah.
Well,
looks like it's kind of a sad story too. So.
Well, we'll see.
It looks like a sequel to The Wrestler.
It's a biopic, though. I think it's based on a real guy, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't work for Jim Carrey, so.
Yeah.
Robin Williams win? He won. Didn't he win for like a bunch of stuff?
He won for Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, he should have. He was amazing in that. Yeah.
And what about Good Morning Vietnam? He
had to win.
Right?
I think he was nominated for that one. He didn't win though. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
All right.
Okay.
Now we're officially done. I'm gonna stop recording now. So goodbye, everybody. Say goodbye,
everybody.
All right.
It's just freaking unbelievable. You're gonna be like, oh, that guy's freaking amazing, unless he's personally a dick to you. Then you might be like, well, screw that guy. But you know what I mean? Everybody has their idol or whatever, but like, it's crazy. It's just crazy. But man, all right. Anyway, that's all I got.